Hi, this is Wilder of the Justice Sovereigns for IPA Week 1 Mini-Wars League. We're going to be facing Tom of the Knoxville Beartics, and his team is kind of terrifying. It has Jirachi and Mega Altaria. It has Sharpedo. Tangrowth is also kind of bad, but overall, I'd say the matchup's a bit even. Mega Altaria is our main concern, though, so a lot of my prep is geared towards Mega Altaria. We didn't end up bringing Crobat against it, though, just because I feel like Crobat's a bit too passive with only 90 base attack, and Mega Altaria is very bulky and it has access to Roost. I'm expecting him to bring more of a defensive set against us, as opposed to Dragon Dance, so I decided that Crobat wasn't really necessary. So, this is our matchup. This is our team. We have Vaporeon, Mega Mawile, Donphan, Superior, Tyranitar, and Latias. Our Vaporeon set's pretty standard. The only real outstanding technique with this Vaporeon set is that we're not running Heal Bell. Instead, we're running Toxic and Protect, as opposed to one of them in Heal Bell, just for some extra recovery and also punishing stuff like Tangrowth and, to an extent, Sharpedo, because we really can't do much to it other than Scald it, and we're supposed to be walling it. Although Scalding it is useful, sometimes we're going to have to predict switches, get Toxics off. It can Toxic the Thundurus, which will be useful for putting it on a timer, especially if he's running Agility. And so this is going to be our Vaporeon set, main switching to Jirachi. It won't be Iron Heading us anytime soon. We won't take much damage from that. We can Scald it off and pass Fat Wishes to the rest of our team. 463 HP, so that's like 231, 232 HP Wishes, which is almost a full health bar for something like Mega Mawile. So our Vaporeon's going to be very useful this matchup. Mega Mawile, also a very standard set. We're running Intimidate as opposed to Hyper Cutter, because I don't believe he has an Intimidator, but it also weakens stuff like Buzzwole and Sharpedo when we come in, although Sharpedo is still threatening nonetheless. We don't really have any need for Play Rough outside of hitting Buzzwole, and I'm not completely certain he's going to bring Buzzwole, especially when you have threats like Latias and, to an extent, Donphan. So this is our set. We're running Fire Fang to hit stuff like Tangrowth and Buzzwole, although Tangrowth doesn't really take too much. It also hits Cryogonal, but Iron Head hits Cryogonal harder, so I don't know why I said that. Sucker Punch for priority and maybe getting a little chip damage before we're finished off. Although I really don't want to lose Mega Mawile early, because that just opens the door for other things to come in, like Lycanroc. Lycanroc I'm a bit scared of. I'm not completely certain he's going to bring it. But that also could just be me thinking Lycanroc's a bad Pokemon, because I do think Lycanroc's not that good of a Pokemon. And we're running Swords Dance just in case we catch something on the Switch, although I don't think we're going to be setting it up that much, but we're not really going to need much other coverage anyway. This is where sets get interesting. We have Assault Vest Donphan with Sand Veil, just, for a small chance that maybe we'll dodge something thanks to Tyranitar Sandstream. We have Earthquake, Gunk Shot, Rapid Spin, and Stone Edge. Gunk Shot is for Mega Altaria and Tangrowth. Poisoning Tangrowth will be very useful. Poisoning Mega Altaria will be less useful, since it'll probably be running Heal Bell, but it'll still be pretty useful just for getting a lot of damage on it. We are running Earthquake just for our main stab move, and we are running Stone Edge for Thundurus mainly. And this thing can just kind of destroy Salazzle, one of the main reasons why I brought it. Normally with its mediocre special bulk, it can't really take on Salazzle, let alone switch into it. But now, with an Assault Vest, we can switch into Salazzle more reliably and take it out with an Earthquake, should we need to. And removing hazards is always nice. Our Superior set is also fairly standard. I'm pretty sure it is standard, actually. We're running Subseed with Leaf Storm and Hidden Power Fire. I didn't really feel the need to add any other coverage to it. Even though we're probably not going to be using Leech Seed much, especially with stuff like Tangrowth running around. And if he's running Assault Vest, we're just gonna kind of be bait to it, and it hitting us with powerful moves. since Tangrowth is not as passive as most people think, it can hit pretty hard. I'm almost certain it gets Sludge Bomb. Also almost certain it gets Aerial Ace, although it could be wrong on that one. So that could be really dangerous to us, but this thing also struggles against Mega Altaria. But if we do get a Leaf Storm off, we can do about 30% to it. So after some rocks and not having, if it isn't roosted up and it's taken a big hit from something and and our Pokemon faints, we can hit it with a Leaf Storm, get the boost, and kind of sweep through his team like that. Contrary probably won't have much use outside of Leaf Storm. It's possible he might defog with Thundurus or something, and we'll get the evasion boost, which will be very handy for us, and that might lead to a sweep. But Serperior isn't going to be our most vital Pokemon in this matchup. Our Tyranitar is very pivotal to this matchup. We are running Babiri Berry Tyranitar with just a little bit of speed. I was running a little bit of speed on Mega Mawile and Donphan as well, just to outspeed Tangrowth. If it's just running a little bit of speed, we'll just run a little bit more speed. But we're running Babiri Berry Crunch to handle Jirachi should it try to Iron Head us. Iron Head will likely flinch, which will be unfortunate, but should he run Flash Cannon, which I almost expect him to considering Donphan's running around, it will do way more. It won't flinch us. The special defense shot would be unfortunate, but I believe it's a 40% chance with Serene Grace. And Crunch will do a lot of damage. If he's running defensive like I expect him to, it won't do as much, but it'll still do a heavy chunk. We're running Stone Edge as our main stab move and way of hitting Thundurus. Ice Beam hits Mega Altaria a little bit less hard than Stone Edge, but it can't miss. And it also serves as a way of hitting Buzzwole for good damage, since Buzzwole has a huge defense and HP stats, but kind of poor special defense. So hitting it with an Ice Beam will be very useful for us, and if we get a freeze at any point against any of his Pokemon, we'll be in a very good position. And last but not least, we have Latias, and our Latias is running a Choice Scarf set just to outspeed everything like Lycanroc and especially Scarf Buzzwole. So we will outscarf the Scarf and be able to hit that thing with Psychic. I'm almost certain that OHKOs with a Modest Nature. Not even a Modest Nature. I'm sure if we were timid, probably OHKO as well without any bulk on the Buzzwole's part. But this thing just can really hit most of his team with Bolt Beam. Healing Wish is just sort of there because we don't really need any other extra coverage. I suppose I could have ran Trick, but I'm also worried about being locked into Trick and Mega Altaria coming in and causing shenanigans. So if I were to Healing Wish instead and maybe heal the Donphan, for example, maybe Vaporeon was toxic and died early, or maybe heal the Mega Mawile, which has been burned, or the Tyranitar, which has been whittled down throughout the game due to not having recovery. There's a lot of opportunities for us to get a Healing Wish off, but his team is offensive enough, or I'm not sure we're going to be able to use it to its fullest potential, but if we do get the Healing Wish off, it'll put us at a massive advantage. So that is my team. I'm really hoping we can pull this one through. If not, at least get a decent differential for a loss. I'm going to be honest, I don't necessarily expect to win this. Tom, I believe, has been in the IPA since day one of Season 1. He's a very accomplished battler, so I'm hoping we can at least knock a few Mons off of him. I'm not the most accomplished battler myself yet, but we'll see what we can do against Tom in the Knoxville Beartix. I will see you in the battle in just a moment. Alright, this is the battle. He didn't bring Buzzwole or Salazzle, which is very good for us. I am doing this post-commentary instead of live commentary because I don't have that much time to record and I have a life. So, unfortunately, I will not be able to give you that those amazing reactions that I would otherwise have in a battle. But I'm sure to give some maybe more insightful commentary on the battle than I would during a live commentary. So, right off the beginning, I lead Tyranitar, and he leads Altaria, which I kind of expected. I almost led Donphan to counter that Altaria, but ultimately, I assume that basically anything other than Sharpedo, I would be, and I guess Altaria, I'd be fine with leading Tyranitar. Jirachi I was hoping for. Lichen Rock, if he led that would be phenomenal, although I kind of felt like he was using it as a setup sweeper to try to blow through my team, which ended up being true. But this is not the greatest matchup, although at this point I believe I went for rocks. I just feel he's going to pull some shenanigan. He's not just going to Hyper Voice or Return, and I highly doubt he's Dragon Dance. So, and let alone Dragon Dancing on a Tyranitar. So I feel the safest play is just to go for Stealth Rocks. Well, maybe not the safest play, but the most interesting play and probably the highest pain play is to just go for Stealth Rocks, especially since his only way of really removing them is the Thundurus, and I highly doubt he's running the Fog Thundurus considering his other team in Altaria, which is a decent possibility, but if he is running Defog, we can damage it here. So he Mega Evolves, and he does reveal himself to be Hyper Voice, just a special set. So we do get the rocks off. That did way less than I thought it would, so it's clear he's not running much special attack investment, if at all. So it's good to gauge that damage. Donphan is officially a safe switch in almost all the time, as long as it has a decent amount of health. So I'm going to switch this to normal because it's kind of grating, especially since I'm pausing all the time. So at this point, I just go into Donphan, now that I know that he's... Alright, he also reveals himself to be Flamethrower, which means that he was expecting Mawile or Superior, probably Mawile because Superior does nothing to Mega Altaria, to come in. Leading Mawile is probably would have been a bad play, especially factoring in that he's revealed himself to be special, but I'm really glad that didn't burn. If it did burn, then Donphan would be nearly useless for me. It will have no offensive pressure, but now Donphan is in against this Altaria, and I'm just going to Gunk Shot. He does go into Tangrowth like I kind of expected him to, but going for the Gunk Shot there is really good for us, and that poison, that poison really helped us. I'm sure he was hating the fact that we got that poison, but now his Tangrowth will have way less recovery. His leftover, he's losing, I believe, 12% a turn with Sand and leftovers, possibly 18. I believe Sand only does 6% though. So now we're in a good position. I figure going Mawile is just good play. He really can't do anything to us, except maybe Earthquake. But with the Intimidate, we're in a better position. Now, I could have not Mega Evolved there, but I decided to just Mega Evolve anyway, because I didn't really feel like I needed the Intimidate for anything besides Sharpedo. So at the end here, he goes into Jirachi, which I am scared of personally. I don't want Mega Mawile to be taking any more damage than it has to be. So I switch into Vaporeon, like I said I would in my team builder, and he does reveal himself to be special, which means Tyranitar is a solid answer to this. Not a switch in, but an answer. So if I feel the need to damage Jirachi heavily, then I can. Vaporeon took nothing from that. It took like 2 leftovers, not even. So now Vaporeon has proven itself to be a solid switch into Jirachi. Except he whips out the Toxic. So me not packing Heal Bell was a huge mistake in retrospect. I definitely should have done that, especially considering his Altaria was probably running Toxic as well. It could not have been, but that's really unfortunate for me. I no longer have as much recovery. I can't stay in and wall things like Jirachi like I otherwise could have. Sharpedo is a huge threat to me now. So I wished there the animation cut out, but getting Tyranitar some extra health is useful here. And the Berry comes in, and the special defense drop is really unfortunate, so I'm going to take a huge chunk from Flash Cannon if I stay in, so I decided to just go into Latias. He goes into Sharpedo here, and I kind of expect him to protect, so I Thunderbolt anyway. I don't really see the harm in doing so. But here, I go into Tyranitar, because I don't really expect him to stay in, especially considering that, well, worst case scenario, he stays in and crunches. Tyranitar takes next to nothing. It can take a Liquidation and do damage back. Enough to Oko, I'm certain. But he ends up just going into Jirachi again, which is good for us. He gets up his Stealth Rocks, and I hit that thing with a crunch. He reveals himself to be Culberberry, And we do get the defense drop, so it's sort of a mirror of what happened last time, except I did way more damage than he did. So we could just go into Donphan to take advantage of the fact that he's most likely switching. And he goes into his Sharpedo, and I almost went into Tyranitar here, but I felt like that would be a bit predictable, and he might end up just going to Liquidation anyway, so I felt like it was safer to just stay in to Donphan. Maybe sack it off if we had to. It'd be really unfortunate to lose Donphan, but it's kind of the best we got, and I'm almost certain he's going for a Crunch or some sort of not water move, because it's kind of obvious Vaporeon would be coming in here. And I have been proven correct. He Z-moves me with Black Hole Eclipse, and I lose Donphan early, which is unfortunate. He gets his speed boost. So Mega Mawile shows up. He gets the defense drop method that really matters, although he does heavily chunk Mawile, which is unfortunate, and I get the Iron Head, finishing off the Sharpedo, which just shows Mega Mawile is a beast that was resisted. Granted, Sharpedo has the bulk of a wet paper bag, but that was still a resisted hit off Iron Head. So Altaria comes in to take advantage of this weakened Mega Mawile, and I decide I just need to get a little bit of chip damage on Altaria before I go down. And that's what ends up happening. So I go into Vaporeon here, probably not the wisest move. I could have gone into Latias, for example. Latias hits everything bar Jirachi, Strawn with an Ice Beam. So that probably was my most intelligent play. I'm not sure if it'll display health for me. No, it won't. But he ends up roosting. I Toxic him. I'm almost certain he's running Heal Bell as his last move at this point. So it's more wishful thinking than anything else. But, well, speak of the devil, wishful thinking, huh? So, again, just going into Tyranitar, getting Tyranitar some health back after this Hyper Voice, which does not as much as I thought it would again. So, I heal a lot. He goes into Jirachi, not exactly sure why, because that did a lot, even with the crit. That did enough where another Stone Edge would be able to finish him off. And at this point, Ice Beam will finish him. And so I decided to go into Superior because I kind of expect him to switch out. Wait, I didn't expect him to switch out. I'm not exactly sure why I went into Superior. This is where my play starts to fall apart. I was doing really well in the beginning, and then I kind of choked it away at a later part. And I do get the Leaf Storm off of the Jirachi. That's probably why I did it, actually, just to get the kill. And nothing really wanted to take a Leaf Storm, especially not Lycanroc, except for Altaria maybe. And here's the disappointment on my part. I substitute. I don't know why. I figured just I wanted a little bit of sand to chip him before I Leaf Stormed and was able to finish Latias off. But he does end up Hyper Voicing, and Hyper Voice goes to substitute. I type about it a little bit in the chat. But now I can no longer finish off this Altaria with Latias, which means Latias ends up going down, meaning it can no longer serve as a revenge killer to Thundurus. So now I'm in a bit of a stall off with Altaria. That was a critical hit, actually. So that was pretty impressive. Bulk on that Altaria's part, but that Stone Edge was not a crit, that was just Tyranitar being a beast. Eventually he just stops stalling, and I'm able to take him out. Not exactly sure why he did that. He could have absolutely baited for a miss. Now here's Lycanroc, and Lycanroc isn't doing that much damage, but with Toxic it's going to be doing enough that Vaporeon can't stay in for very long, and that Stone Edge miss almost won me the game. I'm very happy that that Stone Edge missed. If not, my Vaporeon would have been taken out, and Tyranitar wouldn't have been able to really do much. Tyranitar wouldn't have been able to do much, especially since I would be taking rocks damage, and it would probably die to a Drill Rod anyway, so that would have just lost me in the game right there. But me getting the Wish off, getting some recovery, and being able to live a Stone Edge will really help me out. So I obviously just protect. I respond to the little bit of hacks in the chat. So now I'm above half health, which means I'll be able to comfortably take the Stone Edge. Well, maybe comfortably isn't the best word, and I'm able to take out the Lycanroc, and thanks to Toxic, myself. So now it comes down to Tyranitar versus Thundurus, and if he is running Focus Blast like I assume he will be, then I have lost 70% of the time, and he is, and I lose. So it came down to the Focus Blast, and it was in his favor. And that was just overall a great match. I believe both of us will agree on that. Donphan put in a lot of work in making sure that Tangrowth couldn't stay around. Hinder Mega Maul while Hinder Superior. Hinder basically everything on my team bar... everything really struggled against Tangrowth. Bar Latias, since he wasn't running Assault Vest, at least I don't believe he was. So, if he was running Assault Vest, then there were definitely problems for us. But overall, it was a really good game. Kept both of us on our toes for the entire thing. Me substituting with Superior was really unfortunate, but him missing the Stun Edge was also really unfortunate. Tom is still a really great battler. I'm glad to have played this match with him. His prep was really solid. I looked at it. He was able to run some pretty interesting things. I'm not exactly sure what the Thunderous set was, but the Black Hole Eclipse Sharpedo definitely caught me off guard. If I had gone into Tyranitar there, it's possible he would have just been able to take me out with the Liquidation anyway. But that's the game. That's a 0-1 loss for us. So we're 0-1 in the league right now, which is not a great way to start off, but it's not a terrible way either. It's not like we got 6-0 in the first week. So that's the match for this week, and we'll see you in week 2.